All right. You good?
Ooh.
Yo, Concrete. You made this?
That's my little cousin right
Dude, that man.
here. He produced, what is it?
No, I already know Concrete. What's his dad's name?
Dave.
Yeah, no. That a lot of people know who his dad is. It's cool.
He's a talented young kid, man. He already got a ton of offers after his freshman. His brother over there playing scene.
Well, he made that.
Craig.
Yeah. Craig is actually Fred's nephew.
Who's?
Craig or Fred? Yeah, like
Hey, he cold, man.
it's not his
Craig, man.
Craig. And that's like a dilemma I've been having when people enunciate his name. Is it Craig or just Craig? How do you say it?
I say Craig.
Dang, you're a gang member. All right, you delinquent. I get it.
I feel that.
Dang, Concrete. You should have just said Concrete made it.
No, yeah. So he, that's my little cousin, and reached out to him and asked him. So again, we gave him a shout out last one, but shout outs to young Mateo, young Concrete for making that beat for us. If you're an up and coming artist, you're looking for a beat, reach out to my little cousin, man. He'll get you right, man. But welcome, man, to another episode of Prolific Roots. If you can't tell already, we have a special guest here. We'll get to him in a second. But just like always, we appreciate you guys tuning in, man. This means a lot to us. Like I said, we have a ton in store for you guys, and the people that we're bringing on, they too find value in what we're trying to bring to you, and they're passionate about sharing their stories and sharing a little bit of piece of them in hopes that it'll inspire you to do whatever it is that you want to do and be prolific in whatever way you see fit in your life. So we're excited to do that. As always, if you haven't already, we are active on all of those platforms. What are those? Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on that. Prolific_Roots, Prolific Roots on YouTube. Subscribe. And, we didn't get a lot last time, but if you have any advice for us, because we're learning as we go. Right. And so if you have any advice, if you have any negative feedback, if you want to clown on us, go ahead. Just don't be afraid, because we do clap back.
You will get
roasted. you will get burnt up. So but we welcome all of it though, and we hope that this is something that you will enjoy. Not only find benefit in it, but it'll be something that you laugh at. Because humor is a big part of our lives, and we're not gonna shelter none of that. And definitely this guy that we got right here next to me is probably one of the bigger clowns that I've met personally, but in a great way. Very, very energetic, and his energy is very contagious, and we just excited to have him on this episode. And so without any further ado, I'm gonna let him introduce himself, because I feel like obviously he could do that better than I can. So, man, without any further ado, introduce yourself, give the people your name, where you're from, where we're at right now, and just however you want to be known.
Yeah, dang, you tapped my shoulder hella hard. Man, I just want to acknowledge. No, my name is Lala Ellsworth. I am a tattoo artist here at Frost City, Lil Bitties. And we're in Midvale, Utah, a.k.a. Frost Lake City.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I just tattoo for a living and do hood rat things with my friends. But the Prolific, is that a Nipsey?
It is.
Homage?
Absolutely. You could tell that Lala has not watched our first episode, because we kind of, but that's okay though. We gonna stall him out for this one. But yeah, it originated from Nipsey, and just how often he used that word, and not only that, but just what the word meant to him, and then also
he gave it meaning.
Yeah, absolutely, no, for sure. I mean, you wasn't hearing nobody.
It wasn't
use the
just
word
a face
prolific.
tat.
No, facts. And then Roddy Ricch, he also had an interview on the Breakfast Club. Shout out to Charlamagne, because he a funny dude, man. But he had an interview on there as well, and he just talked about what inspired him to have the same prolific tattoo on his face.
I listened to that one. That one was cool.
Yeah, prolific. We just want to be able to inspire others, and basically plant seeds in others to be fruitful themselves, and just let them know that, hey man, you can inspire anybody with your, you know what I'm saying? And we just want to inspire, promote growth and development, and just we want our people, we want to see our people take it to the next level. Essentially, what it is, and it's definitely our time to do that.
It been our time.
Facts.
It been, yeah. Yes. We should have been. I hate that we have to try to promote and convince people that, hey, it's our time. It been our time. You know how talented we are.
Absolutely.
This is like this is like something that like when you guys asked me to get on the podcast, this is actually something I'm really passionate about. How in the hell did people from the South Pacific really think about it? We're geographically isolated from the world.
Right.
No information, no nothing. How the hell did we learn to like eat, sail, and like navigate, do all these different things? And now, like by any metric of society, how the hell did that small, tiny group isolated away from the entire world, how the hell are we dominating sports, media, movies, music, everything? Like,
Right.
what nationality is doing that? Think numbers wise.
No, for sure.
We're not a very big people. False. We are a very big people.
In terms of population size.
Numbers wise and stuff, we're not a big number, but the fact that we're so highly and densely populated with talented people in more than one thing.
Absolutely.
The fact that fact alone should put a fire under your ass and probably make you put the controller down in your parents' garage and go do something useful with your life.
That's what we're hoping to do. So go ahead and shed some light on how long have you been here at Frost City?
So I started here at Frost City. We've been around for maybe 3 years now, but we're all not new to tattooing, and a lot of us aren't new to each other. Back when Fred Frost, that's who owns this place. Right. That's why it's called Frost City. If it was my shop, it'd be Ellsworth City, but it's his name on the building. No, yeah. But so Fred, he's been in the tattoo game for a long time. He's very well respected. People that are held in high regard in the tattoo industry, and then not just the tattoo industry, but even Polynesian tattooing, like the Suluapa family and all them, they all respect this man. He been tattooing for a long time. He came from Compton, and he'd been doing it since young years. Yeah. And then he had a dream to I want to own my own shop. I want to do it. And then it was crazy because when he was still in a private studio, that was when I first met him. I drink kava with all his brother and cousins and everything. Yeah. That's how I met Fred Frost. And then eventually he literally took me under his wing. He saw the buckets of kava that we would drink out of, and they were drawn on by me. And then he'd be sitting there, who did that? Who drew this? And everyone was like, oh, Lala did that. And they're and then Fred asked me, he's like, hey, do you ever think about tattooing? And I was like, dude, my mom's going to kick my ass, But
so he lit that spark under you then.
Dude, it was more than lighting a spark. If he was Kobe Bryant, he rolled me a ball and was like, let me show you how to do this. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was
big ups to Fred.
Dude, that's for real. He it's bigger than tattooing. He's a great example to me too for everything. Not just tattooing, but he's an amazing artist, but he's a better human than most people too. But no, he literally taught me how to tattoo, taught me the game, and it was more than that because this is how I support my family and you know what I mean? He's pretty much taught me how to feed myself, my family, and do well, and he just laid a blueprint for all of us. Right. So he kind of handpicked everyone that's in here. Some of us have been with him for a long time, like me, Vilingata, and then Yams too. Yeah. Will, forget we were three of the people that he we were I guess in the same class. Right. We're the same class. Same draft class. Yeah. So he was he just kind of took us all under his wing, and he didn't have to. That's something I want to put out there too. He didn't have to, but he just saw something in us and was this is cool for me. I made a living out of it. And then he wanted to give it to he for real he did it, and we've even seen him grow. He went from having a day job tattooing on the side out of a 2-3 bedroom apartment when he first moved his whole family here. It was a risk. He moved his whole family here, tattooed out of a small little bedroom of a 2-3 bedroom apartment. Then he bought a home, which is a big step for him. Yeah. And then he had an entire private studio put in there, and then he graduated from that to our shop. And we were actually a couple units down. Now we're in this big, beautiful unit, the biggest unit in this whole plaza.
All blued out, by the way.
Yeah, I don't want to say what neighborhood he's from in Compton, but I mean, it's kind of obvious. You can see. But anyway, it's beautiful. It's a completely different vibe, and he put us on game and gave us an awesome place to work, and he raise the standard. We're not your cousin down the street tattooing out the garage, or your cousin who's a kitchen magician. This is if you guys were out there, it looked like an Apple
Shout
store.
Shout out to V Nata. He just finished up
yeah.
somebody. Dope
They
piece.
both just
Yeah.
actually we saw 3 people finish up some tattoos today, and
Oh yeah.
I personally don't have a high tolerance for pain
At all.
but chill. But definitely made me feel like I wanted to get a tattoo. I'd never do it just because for the simple fact that I feel like I wouldn't have the oomph to finish through. Like as soon as that needle touches my skin.
Show some heart, man. Our people was made for this shit. No, but I guess that was like a long-winded way of saying that. I've been here for we've been in this spot for a year, but Frost City's existed for 3. But I think I've been tattooing for 8 years.
Wow.
When I first started tattooing, that was the last time I had a haircut.
No, yeah. I remember Lala when he had the short hair.
Dude, that's so crazy.
Starting off his dread, and now I mean I don't mean to touch his dreads, but I mean,
dude, it's past my waist.
It's
oh yeah, where the camera at? Yeah.
I actually knew Lala when Lala actually used to come up to Utah State and offer tattoos for handshakes and food.
Dude,
so you were the garage.
But actually, you know what?
I
feel like we skipping a lot. Let's back it up really fast. We're gonna give Lala here an opportunity to tell his beginning stages, because I'm sure you didn't grow up wanting to be a tattoo artist. I mean, I'm sure you were good at drawing. You've always been probably. But I'm sure it's not like something that you woke up and was like, man, I can't wait to draw another thing today, or I can't wait to, So we're gonna give Lala an opportunity to not briefly, because we'd like for him to be as detailed as he wants to be. We're gonna give him an opportunity to tell his story, his beginning stages, and how he grew from wherever he started into pretty much the established tattoo artist that he is now. And so, yeah, Lala, start from the beginning and give the people a little details to how you grew up and some of your ambitions that you had as a younger person, and then how you kind of transitioned into being what you are now.
Yeah, well, I guess in the beginning, it was a hot, humid night in August. It was just before 10 p.m., and a bouncing baby boy was born. No, it's funny because I've always been artistic, and I always drew, and I always was just being creative was always something that I was always doing, and that was what I would always if I had to fill my time, it was building something, creating something, drawing something. I had the Legos, I had everything.
Right.
Every creative toy you can imagine, that's what satisfied my brain growing up. But it was crazy because my mom, she saw that I liked drawing, and she's kept stuff I drew from the 90s, early 90s. She still got it. Man. Yeah, so she just kept it, not knowing. She just
moms do that though. Moms do that.
Yeah, because I be throwing my son's pictures away.
Literally, my wife, and Lucy could attest to it because she sent him a few pictures as well. But my mom has times suspension reports from when I was suspended in elementary. Why would you say something that's not even something to be proud of? But she has a few of those. I mean, she has.
I was a shining student, man. I can't relate.
Hey, shout outs to you then, because I definitely had some report cards that were less than satisfactory. And my wife was just sending me a bunch. I'm like, where did you get this? And she's like, your mom has a ton of stuff for all of you guys. I'm like, what the? And she started sending me all these other pics of when I was a fat little kid. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead and delete that. But I mean, shout outs to moms for
your
keeping
report
things
card
like
had
that.
B's and C's.
No.
And the C's was see me after.
Yeah, you can say that.
No, but my mom, she's kept it. All these years, she's kept them. And so I always drew. And then when I was 7, that was when I first started playing football. So football was what I gauged love and passion for. I loved playing football. It was so much fun. And I did it from 7 years old all the way up through high school and whatever. But it was crazy because the one constant was always art. Right. I would go to school, get in trouble for drawing. I would be doing something important. I'd be in church, sitting, and drawing on stuff during church, or in everything.
Always drawing.
But it was weird because I'm ADD is shit. I've never been diagnosed, but I'm my attention.
Self-diagnosed.
Yeah, I've never been diagnosed with it, but I just have this thing where I have so many ideas and so many thoughts, and I can't balance it. But when I'm drawing, I can stay focused on that for hours and hours.
I believe that because
I've tattooed for 21 hours. I've tattooed for 21 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, but I can't even watch a whole movie. But No, it was like this.
Movie.
Yeah, I can't. It was like my weird. It was my Narnia. That was like my escape from the real world, and I just could be in my own little environment, my own little place. But
That's tight.
so anyway, like drawing was always a thing for me, and then it was so funny because growing up, I actually was just talking about this with a friend of mine. But everyone's always like, especially when you get into high school, when you're like about to become a grown up, everybody's starting to have a plan of I'm going to this college, I'm going to this, I'm doing this. And everybody's like, what are you going to do when you get older? What are you going to do? What are you getting into? Dude, and this is like 9th, 10th grade now. This is fast forwarded a few years. Football is still a part of my life. Art and drawing is still a part of my life. Everyone was asking like, hey, what do you want to be when you're older? Right. And I sincerely said, I remember this. This was like in 9th grade. They said, what do you want to be when you're older? And I said, happy.
Dang.
Bro, I like
in 9th grade. You said that,
bro. 9th grade. I just was like, I just want to be happy. And I had like weird things growing up. So
yeah, I mean, definitely sounds like you was a weirdo. But I'm saying
no. See, that's what's crazy is that like the things that I was growing up with and I was weird. Nowadays, that's what they call unique and interesting. You know. Now, back in the day, I was everybody was like, oh, did you watch this game? And I was like, no, I was like drawing or something. Yeah. They're like, what?
Would you say it was your parents that were asking you those questions, or was it just like peers and
no
relatives?
Dude, my mom, it's crazy, she's always been like kind of just gassing me in whatever I did. My dad was the same way. My dad was always just like, he was hyping me on like my creative skills. And he was always telling me like, be an architect, like find like a grown-up job or an engineer, do something, you know. And then it was always like, take this little hobby, a little fun thing that you have, and then turn it into like a grown-up job. Yeah, and that was like, man, that's where dreams go to die, my boy. But it was crazy because football was like, I was like half decent at football, and I'm 6'4" and like 300, so it was like expected. Yeah, like I almost got lumped into because it's funny now because like I don't play NFL. But, like, I'm with my NFL friends, and they're like, are you in the NFL? I'm like, no, this guy is. Like, why are you asking me that?
But I'm sure if you said yes, though, they wouldn't even
believe you.
Yeah, oh, no, dude, I've been in, like, out at, like, clubs and stuff, and they're like, oh, are you with all the NFL guys? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, what team do you play for? I was like, oh, the Raiders. And I was like, Kahuku Red Raiders.
Hey, shouts to Kahuku, man.
That's my high school. Yeah. Class of 08. No, but there was like this weird, like, it was an odd thing because I literally was like, didn't care about football. So like I said when I was started out, football was like my gauge for like love and passion. Like I loved it so much and it was so fun. And like high school came around and everyone was so serious about football because it's like, I got to ball out so I can go to college. Right. All these kids were like, oh, I got to go to college. And they were all hyped on like, oh, what college did you get letters from? Where did you get letters from? And like, where did you get an offer from? And I actually had like, you know, I was getting those same letters. I was getting like little offers or whatever. And like, I was like, I don't care about this. And then I almost didn't graduate. So that was another curveball. But no, and then, then later on, like, so after high school, same thing. The passion and love for football was like kind of dying. Yeah. And my love for drawing never went anywhere. It was always there. And like I would get like jobs, little side jobs or whatever, and I would get in trouble at my job because I'm drawing the whole time. Then I was even supposed to, when like how I met you at Utah State, I was actually supposed to be going to school, and then like I was telling him earlier that at the time, I'm a grown up now. This is a couple years out of high school. I've had like shitty jobs that I hated, and then I was like, let's try football again. Tried to do the school thing, and then my mom's husband at the time, he passed away, so I had to stop going to school and work, which was like the first step in the right direction for my tattooing. Because I was like, thank goodness, because I almost like didn't care about football. And the reason why I felt so bad about it is because I'm big, I'm blessed with like size that other people would kill for, and I don't care about it. And like other guys would be like, dude, if I had your size, I'd be killing it. I'd be, you know,
I'd be in the league right
exactly. Now. They were doing all this stuff.
Speak on that a little bit, because I'm sure that there are a lot of people that can relate to something like that, and they don't know how to function with those feelings because, I mean, like you said, you just stopped. I mean, you had the size, you had the ability, and you had the opportunities, it's just something that you just was like, I didn't really.
I wasn't in love with it. And so when as I was growing up, I worked construction. So I grew up in Hawaii, and my mom's brothers that live in Hawaii, they own construction companies. And so I was working construction. And it was funny because like one of my uncles, he was like, they both had money because they were successful business owners, construction companies. But my one uncle, he was like kind of dabbling in like illegal narcotics. But the thing I loved about him, well, the thing is that like I was sitting here thinking to myself, I was like, hard work, that's cool. And then I knew guys in the league, like all the Kimatus. I don't know if you guys know the Kimatus.
Definitely don't.
So I went to school with Benji. He's my classmate. That's their youngest brother, RP classmate. But so the brothers at the time we're getting out of high school. Chris and Maake, the two brothers that was playing in the league, now they've like Chris has a couple Super Bowls by now.
Yep.
Maake is like at one point he was the highest paid D lineman in the league at one point, but anyways. We're seeing them with the baddest cars, the baddest trucks, and like they show up to the party, buy beer for everybody, buy cartons of cigarettes. Yeah, so it was like the money thing was like everybody's like, damn, that's tight. You know, that's why, okay, for all the other guys, that's what motivated them. Right. They're like, I want to be that. I want to do that. I want to be that guy. But I had an uncle that like sold drugs. But but it was crazy because I'm like, wait, my uncle, he didn't do that. He didn't go play in the league. He didn't do this, but he goes and does crazier stuff than them.
Right.
He'd be, buying out places, sending lunch to everybody, and like he'd be doing the whole like hood rich thing. Dude, yeah. And I loved it. And I was like, and I'm like, I like that more than football. Right. And it wasn't I didn't want to sell drugs, but it was like I liked making people happy. Because it made him happy. Right. That's why he did it. Yeah. So that was like one of the first things where I was like, okay, I just figured it out. If it comes to money, I don't really care about the money because my uncle doesn't play in the NFL, but he got NFL money, right? So I was like, okay, the NFL, you're on the fence because like money's not that big of an issue because there's other ways to make money. That's like first thing. And then the other thing was I was like, dude, I don't care about football like that. I really don't. And And like you were saying, like the things that I was going through was everybody was like, dang, what a waste. Right. Big for nothing.
Did that ever get to you though? I mean, did that ever bother you? Or do you feel like you ever pursued it a little longer because of the way the people felt about what you should do with your life? Or?
No, well, the thing that bothered me the most was that all my friends at the time, it seemed like they had their lives together because they were playing football and in college. And so to me, it made me feel like a loser because
like behind or something.
Well, because now like all these guys are in college, they're doing their thing, and I'm like not knowing what to do with my life because I don't want to play football. I don't care about school, and I don't care about the traditional things I should have been caring about. So I felt like less than a lot of my friends, and they're all playing ball or whatever, and I just didn't care. And to me, it didn't bother me at all. Like I actually like had short-term memory loss when it came to like people trying to drag me and be like, bro, how many years you got left? Like eligibility. I would see random like NCAA coaches in traffic or something. Like, how many years you got left? I'm like, I never played 1 year. I got them all. And they're like, Utah State, when I went to them, they were like, they got all googly eyed. Like, wait, you're this big? You're this size? You got all your years left? Bam, let's take you. But the moral of the story was like, going back to like that ninth grade dream of me being like, I don't care about what I do when I'm grown. I just know I want to be happy. Yeah. And all these things like football and all that stuff, it just didn't make me happy. It didn't like phase me to be like, oh, that's what I want to do. Like I just didn't care about it, and it wasn't going to make me happy. So I ended up But
I mean, like at a young age, I'm like, what made you feel that way? You know what I'm saying? Was there a role model that you had?
Yeah, I would say like my uncles, like I was telling you, because they had money, like they were financially secure and they had money and they didn't go to the league.
Right.
And my uncle is actually one of like the perfect examples. This is not the, I feel bad because if he comes back and hears that, he's like, I got cases. Why are you talking about that?
I know you got plenty of uncles.
No, yeah. But my other uncle, they were like, he was like perfect example of following your passion. He went to law school. He had to like eat shit, cash checks. My mom had to eat shit, cash checks to help support him going to law school. And like the other siblings were helping him to finish law school. He finishes law school. He's a lawyer now, attorney at law. Like he's a lawyer, right. And he was in it for a couple of years and just decided that he hated it.
Wow.
So he gave up. He put the pen down, you know, he took the suit off. He put some, you know, some construction boots on, and he started a construction company. And he like made a great life for himself. And it was, yeah. So like to me, I was like, okay, I don't need, like he just showed me a perfect example of he was on track to do this because that's what people expected him to do. Right. And then he was like, no, I'm just going to do what I want to do.
Right.
But that's kind of like how it was for me. Even with my other uncle, like they were supposed to be all these different things, and they ended up following their own thing, like their own passion, what they were interested in, and they made it work. And so I was like, I can do that. Yeah. You know, I don't need to do what they're doing.
Would you say your skills of tattooing are a passion or more of a skill?
Dude, it's a passion, and it's definitely it's a skill, and there's difference between like skills and gifts and like talent. Skill is something you have to like acquire and then like kind of cultivate. Right. Like it's not like a gift where like, you know, it's God gave me this gift to tattoo, but no, it was definitely like a skill that I like acquired and kind of like figured it out. And it was like the one thing I found that was hard. You guys probably like played sports and stuff growing up. Like sports were like anything people would do, whether it was like a random little game or even just a trivia game or something, everything it sounds arrogant, but I was kind of good at it. No, yeah. It wasn't challenging, but tattooing was the one thing that I sucked at, and I wanted to get good at it so bad that I started to forget about football. I started to forget about my grown-up job I had at the time, everything, because I was like, why do I suck at this? And why is guys like Fred Frost so good?
That's how I feel about golf. I suck at golf. I feel like I'll never get good at golf.
That's something that we need to work on because I feel like it's a really fun, almost like drinking kava with a bunch of boys.
Dude, I've actually said that. I said golf is. I said golf is like white people's kava too.
I like that.
They get out there, the house.
That explains why I suck at golf because I actually hate kava too. So I'm not even surprised anymore.
No, the reason why I asked that about the skill and the passion is because I've been cutting hair for about 10 years, and it's more so of a skill rather than a passion. I don't enjoy cutting hair for long periods of time, especially.
Oh yeah, see, dude, tattooing is like a drug to me, dude.
So it's so more of a passion than a skill.
It's a skill, but it turned into my passion. Like, bro, tattooing, like I'm gonna reference back to like the love and passion I had for football. Right. Now it's tattooing. Like I love tattooing.
Tattooing is your new football,
bro. It is my new football, and I hope this shit kills me. Like I love it so much that I hope it kills me one day. But no, like when I started tattooing, I wasn't good, and I really wanted to get good, and I was trying everything I could to become better and better. I was working day jobs to support my tattooing. Like I would work a day job, get my check, buy tattoo equipment, get all my stuff, and then
that's crazy.
Tattoos.
Yeah, and then it was nuts because I had like this weird aha moment one day when I was at my grown-up job. I was doing inside sales at Vivint, and they're like, "Hey, I need to take another day off because I have another tattoo appointment. Right. I got to finish this guy's sleeve." And they're like, "Oh, sorry, you've used all your days." And I'm like, "So what does that mean?" He's like, "You can't take your day off." And I'm like, you know what? That's cool. So I sat there. And I was collecting $8 an hour. And I was sitting there like, I'm losing money by coming to work today. Right. I could have made way more money if I went home and tattooed. So I was like, I'm quitting.
Yeah. You got to weigh out the balance.
So I quit and I went full time into tattooing, which was like a major risk at the time. But no, like tattooing.
How old were you at this time though? I mean, let's not gloss over that. Like that's just like that was such a small feat.
20.
Like where were you at in life at that point? Like in terms, because I know that you said that your mother's husband had passed away, and you had to kind of go to work, and so I mean, were all those things still a factor? I mean, because shoot, that's something that we talked about a little bit in the last episode. It was like, man, taking that big leap of faith. Like, okay, you know what? I know that it's not secure right now. It's not a secure thing right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this leap of faith and kind of basically bet on myself.
Yeah.
And just be like, okay, I'm going all in with this. It's either I'm going big or go home.
Yeah. No, it's crazy because like the times that you would see me up at Utah State tattooing, that was the times where like I needed extra money to help pay bills or whatever or do something. So I'd go up there and just stay with like following them. I would go up there and stay for like a week or two, tattoo whoever wanted to get tattooed, and whatever money I could get and scrape up from that, I went, paid bills and did all kind of stuff. And
talk about hustling, because I don't remember the exact prices, maybe you do, but I'm telling you, he was pretty much doing it for free.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if it was just to build your clientele or if it was just grabbing whatever money you could. But man, I mean, like literally, I remember following them and be like, hey, you know, if you want to get a tattoo, I got my cousin, I got my family out here that's doing it. And you were just out there just hustling, like. Yeah,
like I'll give you an example. I did Elvis Matungi.
Oh yeah.
I did his knuckles, and he bought me a cheeseburger. I didn't eat that day, and he bought me a cheeseburger. Oh yeah, but going back to like the whole chronological order, so this is like maybe 2012.
So 2012, you had a job at Vivint.
Well, 2012 was when I started like really get the tattooing started, and then I think Vivint was like 2013.
Okay.
So 2013. By now, my mom's husband was deceased, and I was like, the money I was making was actually like relied on, like I needed it. So I was, I kind of had to keep that job. But what happened was that little aha moment where I was like, oh, I made this much money at work, and I could have made way more money if I would have went and tattooed. Right. I'm quitting this job. I bowed out. I did the 2-week notice thing, and I went to tattooing full time. But that was the scariest thing for me because I have bills that are on time every month that are on this day, and our mortgage was this day.
It's always gonna come.
Everything's on a schedule, right? Now I walked away from a secure job that not only was the bills on a schedule, but I used to get paid on a schedule. Yeah. Every 2 weeks I get a paycheck, and that was like, it felt safe. It felt secure. Right. And then if I could tattoo on the side, then that would like supplement the income. But now I've like fucked off that income. I'm like dead in the water because I'm like, okay, now I went from making this much money an hour to no dollars an hour. Like,
were you inside sales? So were you making commission too?
Dude, the commission was dumb, bro. It was like dumb as in it was ridiculous.
Like good or bad?
Like very good. Like the eight. So the reason why I mentioned $8 an hour is because $8 an hour was our base like hourly rate.
That's where I work at right now. So.
Okay, yeah. So our commission was like, our commission would be such a like enormous chunk of our paychecks that the hourly was like
taxes.
No, yeah, the hourly was like cool. That's like little, that's just the cream on top. Right. But what happened during the time I was working at Vivint, something happened with their ads that they were running on Google. They had they couldn't run. They couldn't run their ads. So we were getting 0 calls.
Oh wow.
$8 an hour, we didn't even care. But when you're not getting any calls, no opportunity to make any extra money, we are literally sitting there for $8 an hour and nothing extra.
And your brain's got to just what's other ways I can make money.
So so like now that's what like I was like, okay, well if I'm just gonna sit here and just eat shit and not get so I was like, I'm out of here. So that was really the reason why I left. But then when I left and I started having to tattoo full time, I did not know what was going to happen. I just know that like the only thing in my head was like, I just want to be happy. Tattooing makes me happy. And I wasn't even that good yet. Yeah. But I ended up leaving, getting a job at a tattoo shop locally where I lived at. And it was like, if you've ever had like a nightmare tattoo situation, like maybe you and your friends are drunk and you show up at some random shop, that was my shop.
I can't relate, but I feel you.
No, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like we had weird people, like we had like crackhead ass people like come in and be like, "How much y'all charge? Can I use y'all bathroom right quick? Can I borrow y'all phone?" I'm like, "Do you want a tattoo or not?" But anyway, it was like that kind of tattoo shop where it was like less than savory, and it wasn't a good shop to work at. But it was a good place where I just started tattooing. So I went from the first week I was there, I was in the tattoo shop, and it was like waiting for something to come in the door. But the biggest risk for me was like these bills are ticking. Like The clock is ticking on these bills, and I have made no money. And then it was crazy because as soon as I went and I took this big leap of faith, I actually started making good enough money to pay my bills. And then not long after, I actually got like a little bit better, built my skills up, and then it was like not paycheck to paycheck kind of a thing. It was like, okay, now it's actually like working.
I can
It's
start
actually-
putting some
Were you
away.
under Fred's wings at this time?
yeah,
You're-
still.
okay.
So he was still in his private studio at the time in his house. And so I would go on my days off, go learn some stuff, figure
your
some stuff
mentor.
out, and then I would go back and be like, man, he just taught me some stuff. Now I'm gonna put it to
Yeah,
I'm gonna show him.
Application.
I'm gonna show him what
Yep.
I'm doing. So I was doing that along with just like learning on the job
Right.
kind of thing. It was a very fake it till you make it type of thing because I was just like, oh yeah, I can do that.
But I
You
know
know,
at the time, it sounds like you were working at the perfect place to where you could do that.
Oh yeah, dude. The stories that oh my gosh, the stories that I could tell you that have happened in that uphill dumpster fire of a freaking tattoo shop would just amaze you and like disgust you and offend you probably. I saw all kind of crazy stuff. But so like the whole point of me telling that story was that I've like very much had to grind it out. And that wasn't even the very early stages of my tattooing. My early stages of tattooing, I literally didn't know what I was doing at all, was ruining my friends' like arms and legs and whatever they were letting me tattoo on them.
Shout out to all the dummies.
Yeah, well now they be getting the latest, iOS version. They getting that software update. Your boy is dope now. Shoot,
Facts.
no, so I was like, I sucked bad, and it frustrated me that I sucked. So I like put more effort into it, and as time went on, the skills got better. So the skills got enhanced, but the passion for it kept growing.
That's good. Yeah.
And I just kept getting better and better. And I just I fell in love with it more and more. And it got to the point where like, that's all I wanted to do. My days off, I would go in.
Yeah.
If somebody canceled, I'd hit up one of the boys, be like, bro, let me do this on you. Cause it was like a portfolio piece. It was
Right.
like, I used a lot of like, I wouldn't say I'm like very business minded, or I don't have like this weird, like this entrepreneurial mindset to do these things. But then I look back and how like my little blueprint of what I did, and I was literally marketing myself. Like, so when I was doing my big scheme, not scheme, but like my big come up was that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start doing these big bad tattoos, like these big dope pieces, and I'm going to charge people much lower than I should charge, just for the sake of getting numbers.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of getting more people in my chair.
Getting your reps in.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like doing that, and my whole investment with it was that I'm losing out on a couple $100 because I'm charging cheaper than I should, but that couple $100 was like an investment in myself because the back end was I got more trigger time. It made me better because I was tattooing all the time.
Yeah.
Then it also gave me a client because now that person is a
An
walking
advertisement.
billboard.
Yes.
Yeah, and they got a dope piece.
Exposure, yep.
And then that piece, they go tell their friends and their family, they come to me. They refer their friends and their family. And then I now have something to post on my social media.
Right.
When Instagram was newer. So that was like my big thing where I was like, okay, I'm going to eat shit, not make a little bit of money. But the back end was I have free advertising. He's going to refer his friends and family. And then I get the practice. And then as well, I get something to post on social media to get more eyes on my account where people can follow me. Right. And like in social media, the name of the game is like more eyes, more prize.
For sure.
You know, so that was like my little sales, not scheme, but it was like my little plan, right? So, and it paid off big.
You were more of an entrepreneur than you thought.
And I didn't think of it that way because for me, it was just like, this is a good way for me to practice, get better, get my name out there, and then like I can have something to post, and then that would ultimately keep feeding my business. And it, there was like this weird phrase that I coined when I started working. I left that shop, and some of my friends, they started a new shop right down the road, and I worked over there, and I was working my ass off. I used to say, I used to joke and be like, I was in there. I was putting in that trabajo, man. I was putting in that work, I always said trabajo because, that's Spanish for work. Who works harder than Spanish people? Mexican people, right?
That's true.
That's work ethic. True. So I was like, not only do I work hard because I'm Polynesian, but I'm putting in that Mexican work ethic, Right. I'm putting in like hours.
OT.
So my thing was I used to work so much and I would like wear myself out from tattooing. I always used to say that I'm tired. That was like my saying, and people still
use that. I've heard that plenty of times.
Yeah, so it was actually made famous by one of the older guys from Laia when we were mixing. He kept falling asleep while we were drinking kava, and everyone else was waking him up, like they were doing abrupt things to make him wake up. And he worked at like Geneva Rock, so he was working like a construction job, big, like very hard on your body. So he'd be tired, and he'd like wake up and be, I'm tired. Like that was like what he always said. And so I adopted that in my tattooing because I was like, dude, I'm tattooing for like 12, 14 hours every day.
Right.
Every day. Like
Grinding.
6 days a week, I was doing 12, 14 hours a day. And I don't know a lot of people that work like that, but I wanted to. That was the thing. It's like I chose to. And I'd be so worn out and beat every night. Like I'd be leaving my shop 2, 3 in the morning. And then, so not only am like I'm tired by then, but I get home and I should be resting for the next day. No, I'm on YouTube watching other tattooers. I'm flipping through online catalogs of like new tattoo needles, new machines, new things. Like I wanted to be good at tattooing so badly. I was like, sleep is for privileged ass people. You know what I'm saying? Sleep is for people that deserve it. And I'm like, I don't think I deserve it yet. Right. So let me like stay awake, keep like grinding, keep putting my dream together. But a couple months of doing that, it like put my name out there, and like I grew my little business of tattooing like exponentially from when I first started. Right. And then not long after that was when Frost City finally opened. And by this time, people like respected me. Yeah. The people that followed me and knew me by then, they respected me. And so it was crazy that my whole goal was to like satisfy my sensei. Yeah. Fred taught me all this stuff, and I'm like, I need to make sure his efforts weren't for nothing. Weren't wasted. So I was over there putting in work because I was a representation of him. Yeah. So when I first started working at his shop, I didn't want to be like coattail riding, where like, oh, you just work at Fred Frost's shop. Right, you haven't earned a spot. You're just his little homie. And I didn't want people to think that. I was like, I wanted to get here on my own merit, on my through my own hard work. So I just busted ass. And it was crazy because I actually looked back and I thought of like football. I never worked that hard at football. I never wanted to. Right. I never was doing extra reps. I never went in, on off days. I never like put in extra laps and ran and lifted weights extra or did anything. I didn't care like I cared about tattooing.
Right.
And it was wild because by now, the time that I started working for Fred and Frost City had just opened a few years ago, I'm working for Fred, and like all my friends that went the football route, it didn't work out. Like for them, it just didn't work out. And it like almost pains me to like when I saw that happen. Because this is something that like I actually feel for a lot of people. So I see a lot of people, and I grew up around it too, is that for Polynesian people, they saw football as kind of like not the easiest way out, but for our size, ways out. Yeah, it's like, they thought that was the only option. Yep. And so they were like, so here's what happened. The guys who like paved the way and made it, everybody was like, look at their family. Right. Look how they live. They went to the league. I want to live like that. So they're like, son, get good at football, So now these parents have put an unfair pressure on these young kids that are in high school, and they're like, hey, son, not to make things hard on you, but we're a few months behind on the mortgage,
We're counting on you.
The lights aren't on, We're heating our house with our oven right now. So, I mean, if you could get really good at football, that'd be great for our situation.
Like right now, get good right now.
No, and so the thing that I hated that like kind of made me upset was that they saw it as the easiest way out. And like there was so many other options, but some of the parents and some of the kids even, they believed like, this is how I save my family. This is how I take us to the next level. So what starts happening now in the past few years is that families are so gung-ho about making it to the league and getting that lifestyle that they're like, okay, let's put all of our eggs in the football basket. And what that meant for these kids was that these parents who, like, some of them struggled or whatever, but they were like, I'm going to put all of our money into you going to these
training,
football camps, training, private training, all this extra stuff, maybe getting you some better, food and all the whatever it takes to make you better. Right. They fully invested into this football train. So they're like, all the eggs are in the football basket, and that's where they're like running all this. They're buying them nicer pads. They're buying them visors. They're buying them arm sleeves and stuff. And I was like, so they're like doing all this, and they're like basically funneling all their money into this football train. And then all these kids have ever experienced in high school is football camps, football, training for football, not messing up in other things so that I can keep playing football. Right. And then they go to college. That hypothetically speaking, if they make it that far. Right. So now they're in college, and it's even more pressure because it's like you're getting closer. So same thing, more eggs in the football basket. Yep. They don't even care about class because they're like, I'm going to the league. Right. I'm not learning. I'm not taking advantage of this free education that I got because I'm going to the league. Yep. That's the only thing my parents want. So they're like putting all these eggs in the football basket. And then the harsh reality of it is some of these kids that graduate college, or if they don't even make it that far, but then football don't work out for them. So now this is what hurts me, is that all you've ever taught that kid was how to play football. Yep. And now football, the train has stopped, and now you're like, now they feel like a failure maybe, but now this person has to go be a grown-up in the grown-up world, and all the skills that they have is football because that's all you ever put into them.
And I'm sure you know plenty of people like this. I know personally, I've had teammates that have done this. I know a lot of people that do this. When they're on that football train, when all their eggs are in that basket, I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people out there, and a lot of Polynesian people that I know fell victim to this and probably still do. They're taking the easiest classes out there.
Yep.
We're looking for the easiest degree so that I can, because remember, I'm not really worried about
a degree that's worth nothing.
Right. They're not really worried about a degree at this point. They're worried about getting through school because they have to do school to play football. And it's super sad because, like you said, the odds are ever stacked against you if you're trying to make it to the NFL. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are, the odds will always be stacked against you. It's just not in your favor. And so when you get to that point and you realize that, wow, I'm not going to make it to the NFL, you just went through 4 years of college, taking
high school, and whatever, Pop Warner, Little League, all that.
You really could have used that opportunity to at least take advantage of that education and get in something that's not only meaningful and useful, but also something that
help you provide for your family.
Help you provide for your family, and something that you're actually like or you're passionate about. But instead, you were super, super passionate about football that you just completely disregarded all of that and just said, you know what, I'm going to make it to the league. And a lot of people don't make it. And that's a huge reason. I know we talked about this last episode, but that's a huge reason why we created this platform, is because, listen, there are plenty of baskets out there, like innumerable amounts of baskets. And you know what I mean?
Good word.
I studied that this morning. I said, what word can I use on the podcast?
I'm going to use that with my friends.
Yeah, dude.
But
I'm going to impress my white friends with that one. Innumerable.
But no, seriously, there's so many baskets out there that you can put eggs into it. And I feel like we're doing ourselves a disservice by putting them all in one basket, because like we've stated, and we'll continue to reiterate this because we believe this much in our people, we are super, super talented. Right. There's no other way to put it. We have more gifts than being able to run fast or be strong or be big. So there are so many baskets out there, and we have the opportunity to put them in multiple baskets, and that's something that we should do. And Lala is really a great example of somebody that said, okay, you know what? I have this basket, this NFL, this football basket. I'm going to put some eggs in there, but I ain't going to put all of them in there.
Yeah.
Put no eggs in there. Sounds like.
No, people was it was one of those things where people were putting those eggs in they were putting eggs in the football basket for me, and I was just kind of sneaking them back out. I'm like, no, but like I said, I just wanted to be happy, and I didn't see those people being happy. All the guys who made me feel like shit because I didn't go to college and play football. Some of them were getting kicked out of college because they partied too much.
Right.
Some of them were making bad choices with their life and they just, couldn't get it together. And so I was like, thank goodness I didn't go that route because I would have been one of those people. I would have been one of those people that didn't take it serious.
Because your heart wasn't in it.
Yeah, and then I would have just ruined my life. I would have set myself back even further. But I took a big gamble, man. It was a blind risk that I took, but I wanted it so bad that like I didn't even think failing was an option.
Let's go back to what you said earlier. You kind of took that leap of faith. It worked out for you, and so now you're some big. You're a big shot on Instagram, by the way. You got a ton of followers, bro. I started following you. Yeah. So I seen you at the Sevens in Vegas.
Oh yeah,
and you were passing out. You were doing free out. Yeah, you were passing out your stickers.
Was you with us?
Stickers, merch. Oh yeah, I remember I gave you that size medium shirt. My bad. That was the last one we had.
Yeah, so I used that for Under Armour. It was the undershirt.
And that's the power of social media, right? You were out there handing out your merchandise or giving out your handle and whatnot, and that grew into a big following. At that time, you probably already had a big following, but kind of speak on that and what has that done for you in your career as far as tattooing, the following on social media and whatnot.
I tell everybody this, and just because, oh my gosh, dude, social media is the most valuable thing that we have right now. If you have any type of goods or services or anything, or even if you just want to be, popular, social media is like. It's free. Yeah. Right now it's free, and it's free market. It's a platform that they gave you, and you're like, dude, you can do whatever you want with it. Right. And whoever wants to listen, whoever wants to like be a part of whatever you're doing, they can follow you. And so I don't know. I just like, I only wanted to crank out good content as far as like good tattoos. So that's what I posted. But then people liked just that. I guess even in the tattoo world, I'm not like a typical tattoo artist because most tattoo artists are just like quiet. They keep to themselves. A lot of them have personality and stuff, but like
you got that loud personality.
Dude, because I'm telling you, like I enjoy being happy, and like I kind of noticed over the years that the thing that makes me happy is to make other people happy. Right. Like when other people watch a funny video that I put up and they like that brightens their little part of their day, then it's like that makes them happy, and that like makes me happy because that was like my goal. It was never, I never put a numerical value like make this much money and I'll be happy, get to this point in tattooing and I'll be happy. I just wanted to be happy. That was like my goal. And so, but the thing with social media is like I've used this term so many times, and like I'm gonna find a better, like more politically correct way to like describe social media and my relationship with it. But dude, social media was my bottom bitch. If I was a pimp walking these streets, social media was my bottom bitch. I'm like, hey, go out there and bring back W. Right. You simple bitch. I was like, I was pimp talking to him and stuff. I was just saying this the other day. I was like, teamwork make the dream work. Now make your feet work before I make your teeth hurt. Before I fucking Luke Kane your ass. No, but I treated social media as a machine.
Right.
I was like, I am one person tattooing in this small booth in Frost City Tattoo in the heart of Frost Lake City, Utah. This little, 10 by 10 space, as soon as I click this button, I've now broadcasted it to anyone in the world who wants to see it. And other people's like, nah, man, Instagram, that's too mainstream, man. I can't do this because Instagram is this and this. I'm like, okay, fine, have fun being broke. But I was like, I used it, like, I literally leveraged it as like something that could help make me money. Right. Like I never really cared about popularity on Instagram. IG famous don't count to me. You know what I mean? Like Twitter famous don't count to me. It's crazy. But social media is just this thing that feeds my business. Right. So I was like, why not feed social media?
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and the thing is like, it was free. Like anyone who deals with money or who puts their money and make it work for you or whatever, it's like, you want a good return on your investment.
For sure.
You want your little money to make you a lot of money.
Right.
And in this case, social media costs you $0 and it's made me thousands, you know, and it doesn't cost me anything. And I'm like, if they made me pay $100 a month to use an Instagram, I would pay that all day.
And it's crazy because you think about like the Super Bowl commercials, right? How much money
I was just talking about this. Literally, there is people with an Instagram following or a social media following. So the way TV gauges views, like their big like I guess like beacon is the Super Bowl. Super Bowl Sunday is the most televised thing. Yeah, it's like the most televised piece of content on cable television. Right. So that's how they gauge the rest of television, because the most people watch the Super Bowl. So based on that number, that's how they gauge the rest of the year or whatever. Right. But there's people on social media that have more following than the amount of people that watch the Super Bowl. Yeah. Exactly. Now imagine somebody who buys commercial or ad space for the Super Bowl. I forget what it was this year. It was a couple $1 million for a 30-second slot.
It's like 5.2 million or something like that.
For 30 seconds. Now imagine somebody who has twice, maybe 3 times the following on their Instagram. Right. Do you guys know how much people pay for them to be like, "Hey bro, can you just hold this drink? Hey bro, can you
this caption,
can you say something about the jeans that we gave you?" Or like they're just like all these brands are like, "You have more eyes than the Super Bowl, so let me pay you money. Let me do because you have a bigger following than people that have cable." Like, and people are paying $5 million a slot for 30 seconds. I could pay you a couple $100,000 and just talk good about my product. Right. And I know guys that do that. My boy, I don't want to like give out names and stuff, but he's actually on a TV show. Dude, he was telling me he made like $1 million just in Instagram last year. And that's not his regular bag. That's side money. Yeah. Dude, that's
quick ticket on the side.
Bro, yeah. But like that was my whole thing. I was like, social media is free. And all I have to do is like make people want to follow my page, because I just figured if I did all this stuff, if I put myself out there and did all these different things, it would bring more eyes to my Instagram. And if they came to my Instagram, they would stay because they see the dope
all the content,
right? All my tattoos. So they came and they stayed. And that's always been like my whole game plan, is that I'll get your attention so that you can come to my Instagram, come to our shop Instagram, do all that stuff, because I don't care about being popular, but it feeds my business. Right. You know what I mean? And so I've taken advantage of social media every way that I possibly can, because it's free and it's like my return on my investment, which was $0 money dollars, and I've made crazy amounts of money, considering the fact that I didn't spend any to use any
money. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, because there's going to be some people who are watching this podcast who probably, hey, I want to be a tattoo artist one day, or I want to take that leap of faith and do what Lala's doing. And so, what are the numbers? What do the numbers look like as far as someone who wants to pursue being a tattoo artist?
The numbers are good. If you're good, my thing was So I guess to kind of like preface what I'm going to say is that my goal at tattooing was never to be like a good tattoo artist. Right. People would tell me, hey, the average tattoo artist, he works about this many hours, a week. The average tattoo artist probably does this and this. And I was like, well, fuck average. I want to be dope. Right? You know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm like, I didn't want to be an average artist. I didn't want to be a normal artist. Oh, the normal artist does this. The average artist does that. So that's why I shit on all of that, because I was like, I want to be dope at this.
Well, not only that, I mean, you left a normal life, an average life, to what? To be another average at something else? No,
yeah. Dude, I adopted what. At the time, there was no name for it, I believe, but it was like a definite like Mamba mentality. Right. I was like, put in work and just make, grind it out. Yeah. I just figured if I worked more than other people, I would be more successful than them. And like my whole thing was that the tattoo machines I use, I'm actually sponsored by my tattoo machine company now, but the tattoo machines I use, the tattoo needles I use, the tattoo ink I use, everything I use to create a tattoo, anyone has access to that. any person that wants the tattoo can use the same exact stuff that I use.
Right.
So the only X factor for me was to outwork everybody.
Right.
Yeah, you can use the same thing that I did, but guess what?
Yeah.
I'm in here 12, 14 hours a day, and I love this shit. You know, like, you know, while you were sleeping, I was working. While you were partying with your friends, I was working. While you went to that function and when you went to this, I was working, you know? So I definitely had to put in a lot of work. For somebody that was like a college student, I had to put the same amount of effort like a college student would have to put in to earn a degree to get good at tattooing. And I took it serious.
And that's a ton of time.
No, yeah. So I took it serious. Like I mean, I'm wearing sweats and tennis shoes and a t-shirt, but that's what I wear every day.
Right.
I can wear a tank
Well, let's talk
top.
about this chain though.
Oh, you know, you see those diamonds dancing. This is actually a tip from my client. He just gave me that, fresh out the bag. But anyway, no. So I never wanted to be mediocre. I never wanted to be average. I wanted to outwork everybody to the point where I was like good. Right. And so the standard for me, and because Fred Frost expected it of me, I needed to be dope. So I was as dope as possible. And now that I've explained all that, when it comes to how much I charge, I'm expensive. I'm expensive, and like I don't want to like
You're
get
not expensive. You're
I don't
valuable.
I don't want to be like douchey and say how much money I make, because it's not about money. Like, pursue the happiness, pursue what makes you
sure
what satisfied. But my whole thing was I just wanted to be happy and whatever. But when I started charging what I charge, I told my booking manager, because I'm not a real grown up, I have to pay somebody. I told my booking manager, he was like, "Hey, we're gonna do this and we're gonna charge this much," and I was like, "Whoa, that's too much money." And I was like, he's like, "What?" He's like, "No, I feel like that's like too expensive," and he's like, "No, you're worth it. You should actually be charging more than that." I'm like,
look at that.
No, but the funny thing was, I was like, "All right, thanks a lot. You just like signed my death warrant because I'm not going to be able to eat because you're charging people too much money." You know what's crazy?
Nobody's gonna book, right?
I put in so much work, and I was so blinded by how busy I was and how much effort I put forth that not only did I charge, like I'm expensive, but I got more booked. I got more busy. So I'm definitely not cheap. And it's funny now because I'm like booked out to September, right? So it's February right now. And I'm booked out to September, and it's like scattered into next year. Like a bunch of dates are just booked for next year. And I don't want to like I said, don't ever make it about money.
No, yeah, for
but
sure.
like all my cousins that went to school and got degrees, I make more money than them.
Hello.
But like I said, I hope nobody ever makes it about money. Pursue the passion. Because one thing that I know, because I've like been around so many successful people and so many like rich and wealthy people, like I've realized that there's people that make way more money than me. There's people that make the kind of money I will never see in my lifetime, but I live a better lifestyle than those people.
Right.
So that's what turned me off to the amount of money. So
are there any credentials that are necessary to become a tattoo artist?
Man, so in the state of Utah, you need to take a bloodborne pathogen test, which is basically a test that just lets people know that you know how to be sanitary, which is like crucial because this is minor surgery. So you need to like be very clean and, make sure you're on point. We're held to the same standards as like a dentist or a doctor.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so we get shots and all that. But in the state of Utah, all it takes is to have that test and then you're good.
Okay.
Which is like very loose because that's all you need to be.
School, like you don't have to go to school for a certain amount.
No, but tattooing is one of those very pure trades where like it eliminates people that don't deserve to do it.
Right.
Like if you suck, you won't be an artist for very long.
Right.
Like if you're not good, you won't last.
You're gonna get weeded out quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
they'll never last.
Couple questions to kind of wrap things up. Number one, if you had, just kind of looking back on your story, if you had an underlying message, if there was like a message that from your story that you wanted people to take from you, what maybe highlight that for them right now?
Man, if I had a message, I would definitely say find something that you care about. Find something that you want to put so much effort into it that you don't care about what other people think. You don't care about what other people expect of you. Right. Like, just find something that you are truly passionate about and pursue it. I've told a lot of people this. The stuff that our parents raised us on wasn't always right. The things our parents told us not to do when we were younger, people are now getting rich off of it. Right. The things that, and so like I tell people, like, my biggest thing that I try to tell everybody is that they print money every day. All you have to do is put your name on some of it. You don't need to go the traditional route of college, get a good job, all this different thing. You can carve whatever way you want. You just have to figure out what you want to do. But like, we came from people that was stuck in the middle of the ocean, didn't know how to do anything, apparently, right. Based on the history books. They was like, oh, you guys was mindless savages. You didn't know what you were doing. False. We knew what we was doing. We learned how to farm. We learned how to take care of ourselves. We had to like figure out how to navigate using the stars. Who taught us that? No one. We had to figure it out. We were voyagers. We did all these different things. So why can't we do that now in America?
Absolutely.
Why can't we be like voyagers in America, in like the grown-up world? You don't have to go and get to the easiest destination. Find some hard shit to do that you love, you know?
Right.
Now, and I know that you say it was never about the money. You chased the passion, but did you ever, in your not your wildest dreams, but did you ever believe that you would be able to provide for yourself and your family the way that you're able to now, and by doing tattoos, by pursuing your passion of tattooing, or being an artist?
No, I'm like I like cry to myself all the time. Like stuff that my kids do now, I didn't even get to experience until I was like a teenager or high school or later. And like by that I mean, dude, I've like things I never got to experience. Right. My kids go and eat at nice restaurants. We stay in nice hotels.
Yep.
We go do
Hawaii, right?
Dude, Hawaii, we do crazy things, and like we do things that I never got to experience. And I'm not doing it to spoil them right now. I'm doing it to like culture them, just to let them see what it's like, dude. I didn't go out to eat with like I didn't experience like dining out until I was like a teenager in high school. Like I didn't get certain things like you know what I mean? Because I never we didn't have money to go out and do shit like that. So the stuff that my kids do, I didn't get to experience a lot of it until my adult years, high school, maybe college or whatever. But they're already doing stuff that I never got to do at their age, and like I've figured out a way to support it and do it. And like I mean, I took my kids from Simini to Linguini. These kids is living good now. But no,
I'm right there with you, because
it's a blessing though, right?
No, it really, I enjoyed it a ton. Like I get to take my son and do a bunch of, like, literally we'll go to like hibachi place.
Oh yeah.
And my son will be like, hey, like he'll tell the chef to do certain tricks. So he's been to so many. He's like, hey, what about the volcano? What about the duck?
Yeah.
What about the egg roll? Like he'll just tell us like, hey, do this, and I'm like, hey man, like
that's what I'm saying, dude. My kids is having first world problems. What's the Wi-Fi password? All this stuff. I'm like, no, I like it though.
I'm right there with you.
I worked hard to do it, but hopefully they appreciate it. But no, I'm blessed, and like I just sit back and watch my kids experience stuff I never got to experience at their age, and I just like that satisfies me enough.
Right.
Like I just sit there and I'm like, dang, I did it. I feel like more accomplished because of it.
Any last words before we're gonna go ahead and close this out and let you go, man? Any last words that you want to give to our people, our viewers?
What would you tell your ninth grade self? So your ninth grade self, you said you wanted to be happy. Number one, do you feel like you've achieved that state of happiness right now? Currently, do you feel like you have lived that, or you're currently living that state? And then number two, what would you tell your ninth grade self who wanted to be happy?
Right. Yeah, right now, like it's definitely, I'm happy. And like, I don't want to say like I have a picture perfect lifestyle. I don't. But like for where I'm sitting at right now, I'm definitely happy. I really like what I have and the things that I, experienced, I really appreciate it, and I feel like I accomplished it. And if I were to talk to my ninth grade self, man, I would have told my ninth grade self to just, this is a very hard question. Like I would have just told my ninth grade self to just be like confident in what you wanted to do. I was doubting myself so badly because I was doing things that other people thought was wrong. Doing things that some of my family didn't agree with because they were like, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. But I knew in my heart, I'm like, I'm not supposed to be a real grown up. I need to be able to do hood rat things with my friends. You know what I mean? Like my mom, when I first started getting tattoos, she was so upset. She's like, what's going to happen when you have to get a job? I didn't want those fucking jobs, Mom. I wasn't going to work at the bank. You know, I had a vision when I was in 9th grade, and I wish I would have stayed truer to it, because I probably would be a little bit further than where I'm at right now if I would have just stuck with it and did what like my heart was telling me and follow my like passion project of art and tattooing. If I would have done it earlier, I feel like I'd be a little bit farther in life, but that's what I would do. More urgency on following your passion for sure. Yeah.
Man, thank you so much.
No,
Lala.
yeah, for sure. Let's give Lala a round of applause right quick, man. We really appreciate that.
Appreciate you, man. What's your handle?
Yeah, let these people know where they can find you.
Follow you.
At Lala Ellsworth on everything. At Lala Ellsworth.
Yeah, and
we're gonna tag it.
Yeah, we're gonna tag it in here. We'll be sure to drop the address for if you're looking for a tattoo, first tattoo, 10th tattoo, 100th tattoo, whatever. I mean. Actually, you know what? We'll post some pictures of your work as well. You know.
Yeah, I don't suck.
For sure.
No, yeah, he definitely do not.
I don't suck.
But yeah, we'll post some of that. And again, we just wanted to say we appreciate you taking this time. It's actually it's kind of a late hour right now for us, and he had just finished getting off the table, like literally
grinding.
Went straight from the table straight to this table, and so we appreciate you taking this time out, man. And I'm sure that. The people that are watching this, appreciate it, and hopefully they pick something out. I know that we did. We felt already a little bit even more inspired to go out there and be prolific ourselves. And, again, if you guys have these prolific moments, if you feel like you're inspired by something that you hear, share that with us in the comments, shoot us a DM. We want to highlight those things on the show. So, it'd be nice for us to start off every episode with, a few of our viewers, a few of our followers, with some of the experiences that they had with this podcast. And again, all feedback is welcome, and
definitely
we're just eternally grateful for your time and also for our viewers' time. But until next time, man, let's continuously be prolific.
Yo, Concrete. You made this?
I'm telling you, man. It's crazy. I asked him to make this beat, and like literally 2 hours later, it was in my email because we asked him to mix